Okay, so we are on custom controllers. And we have talked about two things: get methods and action method. Now we are going to talk about the set method. Okay. Before I get into the set method thing, can anyone quickly tell me what is the difference between a get method and an action method? Anyone?
By using get method, we can directly call the method in the Salesforce page, and action will trigger based on some either means in button or something on that.
Yeah, tell me. Sorry.
Get method is not required to call explicitly, whereas action method has to be happen as based upon some event, like say button click or so.
Okay, event. See, get method also gets called on an event, and the event is the page load. Every time the page loads, right? Action method is something which will wait for the end user to call that method, right? Okay, so yeah. Now in get method, basically what we have seen. Now let's keep the action method aside for some time. In get method, what we are doing, we are actually returning some value, okay, of a variable, and that value gets displayed on the page. Okay, the page gets the value from the code. That's what a get method is doing. Sometimes you might need to take some values from the page and pass it on to the code also. For example, have a look at this. Let's say this is your page, the Visual Force page, and this is your controller. This is where your code is written. Get method is actually taking the value from the code and displaying it on the page. That's what a get method is doing. Sometimes you may have a situation where you need to take the value from the page and pass it on to the code, and based on that you need to do some processing. That's set method. Okay, so that is basically the set method. So we are going to look into the set method today, how a set method would work. Okay. Just give me a moment, let me log in. Okay. So we'll create a class for set method, and before that let's understand what exactly we are going to do. We are going to create a page. I'll create a page. I'll have an input box here. I'll have okay, I will have a show result here button, an action button here. So you can enter some value here and click on show, and it can display you the results. Okay, that's what we are going to do. Okay, so just give me a moment. I'll need one more thing here. Okay, so we'll start with basically creating the visual force page here. Okay, I'll start with the visual force page. I'm not defining any controller here because I've not created a controller yet. I'll say working with a set method and I will say effects input text. Effects command button. Though I told you earlier that these tags in Visual Force and anything in Apex is not case sensitive. Doesn't matter whether you are typing it in smaller capitals, but you have to keep in mind that this IntelliSense will not work if you put capital letters here. For example, as you saw just now, if I make this capital C, now that IntelliSense doesn't work. You know that value is not coming. If you remember, you can type it, but you will have this problem that IntelliSense is not working. So anytime you see that it's not working, you will have to understand that you might have used a cap character somewhere. See, now it starts working, right? And in Visual Force especially, we are so dependent on the IntelliSense that we need to use that. So not that Apex code will not work or Visual Force will not understand what you have typed. If you type it in capitals, your IntelliSense is not going to work. So for that reason, you will use it. Okay. Okay. So value will be show results. We need a form tag here. Form. Okay, so I have basically created an input box and I have created a command button. What I want to do, I want to enter some value here. I want this value to pass into my controller and do some sort of processing and show me the results, right? So this action button should call the method. So I need an action method, I need a set method, and I need a get method to display the results. The three things that we need here: a get method that will get me the value on the page, a set method to pass the value from here to the controller, and a command button or action method that will work when I click on this button. So three methods are required. So we are good to go ahead and start creating our controller. So we should just go to setup, develop, apex classes, and then create the class for this. I'll call the class as set method class search industry. Public class search industry. So yesterday we did an example where we created two different buttons, right? One for customer channel and one for customer direct. Now, what if you just want to type in the value here? Let's say you want to search accounts by industry and you want the end user to type it here. So that's what we're going to do. So end user will type the industry that he's searching and then he can click on show results. So first is going to be a string. In this case, we'll need a variable string which will be passed from the page to the code. You can name it whatever. String, call it keyword. Okay. Then list of account, which is going to be the results. Okay. Then I need get methods for both of them. Public string get keyword return keyword public list of account get results return results Now I'll need to define the set method here. Okay. Set method will not return anything. Like the get method is returning the value, set method is not going to return anything. Only job of set method is to take the keyword value and pass it on. Take the value from here and pass it on to this variable keyword. Okay, so it should take the value from the page and assign it to this variable. That's what its job is. After that, it should not return anything. So it's gonna be, the return type here is gonna be void. Any method that should not return anything, for that method return type should be void. Like this method is gonna return string, so I've said return type string. This is gonna return list of account, return type is list of account. For a method which does not return anything, it should be void. Set keyword string s keyword equals s. Okay, so that's it. So this will take the value that you enter on the page as a string s, and then it passes on the value from s to my keyword or to my variable. That's it, and there is no return statement. So anytime you are creating a void method, it should not have a return statement. Otherwise, your method should have a return statement. Like every time we have a return statement finally in the method. Because this is void, it does not return anything. I don't need the return statement also here. Now the next thing that we have to do is we just have to go to define a page reference method. Now I need to define, I've already defined the get method. I've already defined the set method. I need to define a page reference method or action method basically, which I will connect with this button. So let me go ahead and create that. Page reference, and what is that we have? Show result. Okay, I'll call it show results only. This will not return anything. Return none. And what do we want to do here? We want to assign the value to this particular keyword, right? This variable results equals select name, type, industry, code, x from account where industry equals keyword. Correct. Now instead of putting a specific value, I have just put the variable name here. Now every time the variable value changes, the results are also going to change. I think we are good. Yeah, code is fine. Now let's go and call this class in the page. First thing, you'll have to call this class on the page as a controller. Let me do the connections now. Controller equals the class name. Input text will have the value of the set method keyword. Okay. Uh, okay. And here action is going to be the page reference method. Okay, after this we can have page block table to display the results. Text page block table value text column value name. Okay, so everything is in place. Now if I go to this page and if I type energy and say show results, see, shows me all the accounts where the industry is energy. I'll say education, all right. Uh, what I can say is, what other we have? Technology. Okay, so there are no records on technology. Okay, so see what your set method is doing. It's actually passing in the value to the code. Then the query runs and it uh, gets the updates the value of this variable results, and then the get method gets the value on the page. That is exactly what is happening. All right. Now let me know if anyone has any question or doubt here. So now we have talked about the set method also. We know the action method. Now there is another thing which I want you to understand. It is called, okay. So far we have been working with SOQL queries. So far we have been,
One question.
yeah, we'll come to that after again by 10 minutes. Okay. Whatever queries we are writing, these are SOQL queries, SOQL queries. Okay. So when you're writing a select statement, which is very similar to the SQL queries, MySQL queries. Um, so so in Salesforce we don't call them SQL, we call them SOQL. SOQL stands for Salesforce Object Query Language. Apart from SOQL queries, so all the queries that we have written so far, all the select statements, they are all SOQL queries. Apart from SOQL queries, we have SOSL queries also. Okay, what's an SOSL query? SOSL query basically stands for Salesforce Object Search Language. Salesforce Object Search Language. Okay, so SOSL query basically is very similar to SOQL query, but it's a little different. Okay, it uses a find statement instead of a select statement, which is used in SOQL. SOSL uses a find statement. Okay, so basically SOSL will allow you to perform a search on the database and return the result. So you can actually enter a terminology, a keyword. You can enter a keyword and you can perform the search with that keyword in the database in the table and return the results. Okay, so find query works like this: find keyword, returning account name, type, industry. Okay, right. What is the difference between the the select query and this one? In select you can actually write select name, type, industry, phone, X from account, where industry equals keyword. This is how your select statement will be written. This is how a find statement is written. Now, what is the difference? What is the primary difference between this and that? The difference is that this find statement will perform a search in all the fields. It's capable of performing. You can actually restrict it to some fields also, but it's capable of performing a search in all the fields. Okay, and it can return the result based on that. So, for example, if I use the keyword energy, a find statement can go and search energy word in all the fields of account. Even if the energy appears in the name, it will show the result. If it appears in the street address, it will show the result, right? So when we have that sort of requirement, because in select query, I have to be very, very particular about field, that if you find keyword in industry, then return the result. So you'll have to specify the field. But if you want to perform a search, that's how a search works, right? When you're trying to search some keyword, you will want to return all the results no matter where in which field the keyword exists, right? So that is that's what a find statement is going to do. So I'm just going to change this code, change this class, and we will make it the SOSL query, the find statement here. Okay. Let me create another one. Okay. So what we're going to do, we'll define another page reference method here. I'll say public page reference find results. Done null. Here I'll say results equals list of account find keyword returning account name type industry contacts. Okay, so I've just created one more action method, page reference method. I call it find results, and in this case I am assigning the value to this based on my search query. Okay, now let's go and see. Okay, I'll create one more command button here. This one I'll say search industry, and I'll create one more command button here. Text command button value equals search all fields action find the results. Okay, so if you type energy and you click on search industry, so it's only going to search the records where energy appears in industry. You say search all fields, It's gonna search all the fields. It's looking fine. Let me see. Hmm. Okay. So now if you put a keyword here and click on search all fields, this basically, see, I've put a keyword called United. Okay. If you see, it shows me these three results, which is fine because the United keyword is appearing in the name. It shows me these two results also, Express Logistic and University of Arizona. Why? Because this United word might be appearing in some other field. Let's say the billing country or something like that, United States. That's the reason why it's showing other results, right? So that is the good thing about SOSL query. It's gonna search all the fields and return you the result. All right. So if you don't write anything, if you just say find keyword returning, then it's going to perform the search in all the fields. So this keyword will be searched in all the fields, and wherever it finds the value, it will return the result. Now, if you just want to perform the search, in this case, if I just want to perform the search on the name field, not all the fields, then you should say in name fields. Now it's only going to perform the search in the name field, not the other fields. Okay. Now if I put the same keyword and click on search all fields, see, now it only shows the records where United appears in the name. So this time it has only searched the name fields. Got it? So that's how your SOSL query is going to work, and it's going to help you. Got it? So depending on your requirement, whether you want to perform a search in all the fields or you basically want to do a search on a specific field or write a query for a specific field, you will decide whether you need a SOQL query here or an SOSL query. Let me know if anyone has any doubts here.